Shalom, brothers and sisters. I hope you're doing well today. So, there's something which is happening in Gambia apparently, which is not right. And it's so sad that we as African diasporans, we are just watching and just sharing everything happening. So, there is something which is going on in Gambia. And of course, it's sad, as I've just said, that Gambians are being kicked out of, not Gambians, but African Americans are being kicked out of Gambia by Gambians simply because they feel like they feel like African Americans are occupying their lands, African Americans are taking their jobs, which is something which is so sad. And I do believe that every African American lives in the United States to find solace in Africa, not just to find these things which are happening to them, and actually they are so sad things. And I watched the video and I felt so touched by what's happening to my brothers and sisters in Gambia, and it's so sad, man. So I want you to watch this video, and then let's come back and talk about this, because it is so sad for me to hear, like, for example, a white person comes to Africa, they buy land, there is no problem. But when an African American comes to Africa, buy land, starts doing agriculture, then there's a problem with some Africans. I think there is a problem with that. And it's so sad because these are people who are coming back to their motherland. But then I don't want to talk much about it. Let's watch the video. And I created some notes after listening to the video, and I felt like if I share this with you, it might, try to solve some problems, maybe, if they can. Until then, let's watch this video. And if you've watched this video and you feel like resonating with and you want to subscribe to my channel, kindly consider subscribing to my channel. This is Eugene, the African Kid. Let's watch the video.
Hi everyone, it's DJ here. I know it has been a minute since you've seen me. Life has been incredibly busy the last couple of weeks, but rest assured, I miss you all. I'm thinking about you all, and I cannot wait for us to turn it up on a live in the very near future. So I'm going to cut right to the chase. You know I'm a straight shooter. I wanted to discuss the situation with the arrivals because, as you know, we've been keeping a close eye on the crime that is taking place in the Gambia as of late, and this most recent situation really drives home some trends that are beginning to emerge from the small West African nation. Now, the couple, the arrivals, recently were robbed while they were out and about. Their home was completely rubbished. Apparently, the robbers took laptops, computers, things that the couple used to make YouTube videos, and jewelry and other things that can't be replaced. So, of course, my thoughts go out to them. I hope they're doing better, and I do understand how shaken up they must be over this happening. I mean, just imagine a couple that's trying to go to Africa to do something good, and they seem to be really fitting in with their host community. People seem to love them. They're always doing things to help people out, and to see this happen is just so discouraging. And I think there are some important points that we can all take from this situation, and that folks who are in Gambia or who are thinking of going to Gambia need to be aware of. So after watching all of the videos and watching them multiple times, here is my honest assessment. The criminal element in Gambia is sending Black Americans a message. And that message is, you are not wanted here. That's the message. The robberies, the phone snatching, the hassles in regards to land, the double talk, all of that is really just a symptom of a larger issue, which is that Black Americans are not particularly welcome in the Gambia. Now, do all Gambians feel this way? Of course not. I'm sure there are many Gambians who have open arms and open hearts, but those who ignore this criminal element do so at their own peril, because what's happening is this criminal element is picking off diasporans one by one. And the more naive you are, the better for them, because you never see them coming. Now, we know there's a criminal element, but here's what you might not know. There is a growing underbelly that is specifically coming together in Gambia to wage war on the Black Americans that are coming there. The Black Americans are being seen as foreigners that are looking to usurp and take land that doesn't belong to them, that are looking to get land for free or on the cheap, land that has been denied to local Gambians who don't have the money. And people are really underestimating the resentment and the anger that locals feel when they see you coming from abroad buying up land that belonged to their grandma, buying up land that belonged to their auntie, buying up land that belonged to their great-great-grandfather. Here's the bottom line. They don't think you deserve it. Yes, that's the truth. They don't think you deserve it. And therefore, they are making sure that they do everything possible to make you feel unwelcome and unsafe. And I would say right now, they are 1-0. If this were a football game, they'd be many yards touchdowning, as opposed to Black Americans, because Black Americans have refused to be honest about this criminal element. And it is making couples like the Arrival and others very vulnerable. Now let's talk a little bit more about why it would benefit the criminal element to target Black Americans. Number one, it's an easy target. In any country, whenever you want to look at a target, you always look at the foreigner. You always look at the person who's not like you. And as much as Black Americans want to believe that skin color is the end all be all, I have to tell you that is not the case at all. There are many tribes in Gambia alone. And off the top of my head, we can think of the Wolof, we can think of the Mandinka, we can think of the Fulbe or the Fulani, and so many more. So in this instance, your black skin does not make you their brother. If they don't see the Mandinka man who has been living there for hundreds and thousands of years as their brother, why would they see you, Johnny Bluebank from America, as their brother? Just ask yourself, does that make sense? If they don't see the person right next to them, the Fulani, the Mandinka, if they are not their brother, why would you be their brother? You know why you're their brother? Temporarily, and I say this, temporarily you're their brother because of money. Yes, they want your money. They want your green. They want your cash. And so as long as you're greasing their palms, yes, they will call you my brother, my brother. But when you're not greasing their palms, you're no more a brother to them than the Chinese or the European. So what is the solution here? I'm so glad you asked. The solution here is that Black Americans must begin to move as an independent tribe. We have to respect the tribal territories that are in effect in Gambia. We have to first learn them. You have to learn what areas do the Fulani live, what areas do the Mandinka live, what areas are groups most prevalent. And then you have to go in as a tribe. So for example, if there are, say 50 to 100 Black Americans that are in Gambia, you all need to come together and designate one specific person to act as the spokesman or the chief And you need to go in and say, hey, we want to talk with the chief of the Fulanis. We want to talk with the chief of the Mandinka. And you know what we want to do when we get there? Not my brother, my brother. We want to negotiate. We want to negotiate the amount of land that can be allotted to Black Americans. We want to negotiate the amount of business licenses that can go to Black Americans. Right now, Black Americans are all operating on this independent sphere, and that in itself is very symptomatic of the American way of thinking. Everyone is out to do it for him or herself. Everyone's trying to get their own business going. But guys, let me tell you the truth. You are not going to make it in Gambia alone. You're going to this country that you know nothing about. You're moving way out into farmland. And by the way, if you weren't a farmer in America, you're not going to be a very good farmer in Gambia. So that's the first mistake. Everybody can't be a farmer. You all need to start coming together in city areas and building up urban communities. Once you've been in the Gambia for 50, 75, 100 years and you've established yourself in the community and you've intermarried and you've mixed blood, then you can start branching off into the wild, wild west. But as it stands now, Black Americans, you are your own tribe in Gambia, and it would behoove you to start acting like it.
So, this is one thing which is sad because I do hear a couple of brothers and sisters, African Americans, saying that we've done a lot to Africans. What has Africans done for us? And sometimes, it's hard to point out some things that Africans have, done for African Americans. And me myself, sometimes I feel guilty for that. But at least I always try to talk to you, tell you to come back to your motherland. I mean, that's much I can offer and try to open up your eyes about some things which are happening in Africa, including the solutions that I'm going to, give you. So this is the thing. I do say that when you come to Africa, before deciding whether to buy land or not, this is something that I usually say. Kindly stay for at least 4 to 6 months. Try to gauge about the security of this place. Try to gauge, is this place survivable for me? If I want to do agriculture, is this place agriculturally favorable? How about land issues? Are the natives so easy on land? How does people deal with land issues? Are there disputes about land? How are these people viewing us? As I told you, Africa has 54 countries, 1 to 54 countries, and they might be different, Gambians might be good in some sector, they may be wrong in some sector. Kenyans might be good in a given sector, they might fall short in a given sector. Same to Tanzania, same to Ghana, same to Uganda. Name all the 54 African countries. So always stay for around 4 to 6 months so that you may see by yourself, because the sister is saying that security issues are a problem. People their laptops are being robbed. The content creators who use their laptops to edit the videos and everything, it's being taken out from them through, theft. So it's a sad thing. And I always ensure that where you are, security is good enough. So the sister is saying that these theft cases, these threats is sending to African American message so that they can leave Gambia. Well, I'll say this: not all Gambians, of course, are bad people, just the way she said. But also, how do we deal with this group of people who are showing resentment to African Americans? Because historically, we are people from the same community. We are people from the Black community, if I use the word Black community. Why should we turn against each other because of things like land? And as I've said earlier, it's so sad that when a white person comes to, Africa, they're being given land, the land is being sold to them. When it turns that it is Africans, they see it as a competition. Like fellow African Americans, they see it as a competition. There's something which is wrong with us, people from the Black community, or if I'll say some of the Gambians who does that thing. And this is a sad thing because I see that, according to what the sister was saying, they have organized themselves in war, in group of wars, looking to dislocate African Americans, especially in the lands where they have not been given, but it has been given to African Americans. This is a sad thing to happens to people from the common we share common ancestry, and I believe that if slavery didn't happen, African Americans could have stayed in Africa in some way or somehow. They could have had their land in Africa. Why is it a big deal for some Africans to just understand and accommodate each other? Because we need each other. Remember, African Americans have always been asking. We have tried to talk to Africans. We have tried to help them through community work, but what are Africans paying us with? So it's so sad. And I'm hearing a couple of brothers and sisters from the African diaspora complaining that their house are being broken to, complaining that they are being chased, complaining that they're being threatened. And it's a sad thing to happen to people from Africa. It is a sad thing. True, it is a sad thing. Me as a person, I'll say. And there's this issue of tipping Africans. And the sister highlighted it, that when you stop tipping Africans, they won't see you as a brother. They will stop calling you brother. Well, this might be true, but again, it goes to an individual personally. Remember, it's not all Africans that have this behavior, because we have Africans who are woke, we have Africans who knows the Ubuntu spirit, we have Africans who knows brotherhood, who knows sisterhood. It doesn't have to give me for me to call you a brother. What if it ends? You see? So I feel like these are things that we need to address them with so much care. And I'll say this, as an African American, create a strong relationship with the natives. Yes, create a strong relationship with the locals or the natives. Why do I say that create a strong relationship with the natives or the locals? I mean that it is true that you won't agree with everyone when you come to Africa. Of course, we'll clash with some people, but create even if it's a small circle of Africans that you have that can protect you when a given group of people goes rogue against you. Because as I told you, not every people will welcome you in Africa. Because just remember, the same with during colonialism, we have African leaders who collaborated with the white people. We have we have Africans who resisted them. So same today. Some will not agree with you, some will agree with you. So always try to have a small group if you can find, and find a land between them that you feel like you're protected, so that when some things like being broken into your house happens, they can show up and try to negotiate things or help you out, because I think this is important. Sister also talked about something to do with moving as an independent tribe. It might show. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense, because even in Africa, we have different groups. We have the Mandinka, the way she was saying, we have different ethnic groups. And as an African American trying to identify with a group, and me, I'll tell you, you can decide to identify with the group which already exists, and it may make you have a sense of belonging. And after them knowing that you recognize yourself with them, they will accept you. They'll protect you from everything. Just know that even we amongst ourselves, Africans, sometimes we fight things to do with land. Sometimes we share borders with a given ethnic group and we fight. For example, Kenya and Uganda sometimes fight for Lake Victoria. So this is something which happened. It's about you as a person to know which group do I identify with, and always inform them that you identify with them, so that in case of problem they might stand and stand up with you and show you the right things to do, and maybe protect you if that's the last thing or that's the most important thing you want from them. She also said that you can't make it alone in Gambia, which also resonates with what I'm trying to say. Always find a group that you recognize yourself with, and always let them know. Be part of the community. You can do charity, and doing charity will show them that, Now you are accepting to be part of us, and they'll see you as one of them. But of course, they should see you as one of them. There's nothing to prove, but just to be on the safer side, you need to, do this, because I feel like it is important. I'm sorry for the siren which was happening there. It is sad for everything which is happening in Africa, especially specifically Gambia. And I'll tell you this. Also, Africa has 54 countries. If you find a place that you don't resonate with, if you find a place that your peace is threatened, your life is threatened, just leave and go to other African country, or just try to, do the things that I've told you to do. And I believe that it will be of great importance to you. Problem arises, you no longer become their brother. I think the sister highlighted that. And if you just follow the same thing that I've told you that find a given ethnic group or a community in a place where you are that you resonate with. Now, this is generally African, not necessarily Gambia. Another thing she has highlighted is it is important when you go to urban centers. It is in urban centers where you can build, develop without the natives and live along the village problems, land grabbing and people fighting for land, Yeah. And she highlighted something important. Not everyone can become a farmer. If you never become a farmer in the United States, you cannot become a farmer in Africa. And it will take you time to do this. So you can still find a place along the cities, along the urban areas, and just stay. For instance, if you are in Gambia, I think I've highlighted the things that I need to say. I don't want to say much, but I believe that if you've listened to me until this point, what I've told you will at least try to help a little bit. So this is Eugene, the African Kid. I always do content related to African Americans and try to offer solutions to some problems. So if you feel like resonated with the things that I said, you can consider subscribing to my channel. This is Eugene, the African Kid, and see you in my next video. I just hope you have peace if you are in Africa, and you can always relocate to other African countries whenever you feel like your life is threatened or your peace is threatened. Africa is big with 54 countries. I'll remind you that as a matter of fact, and that should not hinder you coming to your motherland. Always come and visit our motherland. We have a lot of people who are accommodative. We live alone the small piece of people who doesn't accommodate their brothers and sisters from the diaspora. Until then, let's see each other in the next video. I wish you a happy new year and may everything happens the way you want. See you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.